So I'm a Southerner. I was born in Arkansas. Please don't hold that against me. I spent most of my childhood in Shreveport, Louisiana. At the age of 7, I found this weird game called football. I didn't know back then, but the very first game I played was called Smear the Queer. You throw the ball up in the air, and the queer has the courage to pick it up, and everyone else tries to smear him or her. And even though I didn't have the understanding at that point that I was gay, it's interesting that my first involvement in sports was a game called Smear the Queer. In 10th grade was when I first had understanding that I was gay. But at that point also, I was a pretty good athlete. I was probably maybe the 10th best athlete at my high school. My high school had 2,000 kids, so it's a large high school. There was a kid at my school, his name, we'll call him John Smith. And John Smith was good friends with my best friend at the time. And John Smith was the only openly gay kid in my school. And I used to bully John Smith incessantly. I hated the fact that he had the courage to be openly gay, and I didn't. As an athlete, you have a certain level of currency where you can get other people to pick on John Smith also. So for the next 2+ years, I made John Smith's life a living hell. And the way that I talk about John Smith now in my lectures is that I actually wanted to be John Smith. I went to college in Utah. I didn't feel the pressure to be this stereotypical guy who's having all these girls doing all these things, because no one in Utah is that way. Once college ended, I signed as a free agent with the Tennessee Titans. And what was really wonderful about the sport of football was that I could hide. I didn't think about the fact that I was gay when I was on the football field. A good friend of mine from the football league said, "You inspire so many people in this football league that you should consider working with young people." So I started reaching out to some nonprofit organizations trying to volunteer there. I went to a place called the Hedrick Martin Institute, and Hedrick Martin is a LGBT youth serving organization that caters its services to young people from 14 to 24. I walked in there probably March of 2010, and I walked out of there in 2012 a different person. You meet the most amazing sheroes and heroes that you can ever imagine. Young people who, at the age of 12, 13, 14, 15, they announce their sexuality to the world, and they could be homeless the very next day. And then Sid kept asking me he's like, "You should tell your story publicly, you can change the world." And I was like, "No, I can't, who really cares?" And he finally asked one last time, and I said, "Sure, you can tell my story if I get to tell the stories of these young people." They had an interview done of me, and it came out, and I went viral, as my boss said. So for 3 straight days, I was the most Googled person on the face of the earth. Even beat Miley Cyrus, yes. I also grew up with a speech impediment, so it was really something interesting for me to have grown up with this disability, but to be able to speak in front of people and not really feel uncomfortable. I'm always nervous, that means I'm ready. But it was really a beautiful thing.